2018 NFL Draft. We're going back. We're taking a look. We're giving it a grade. And this one's going to be a bit more interesting because we've seen the value that these guys have given their teams. Even if they've been extended, maybe they've moved on to greener pastures, maybe they were traded, but we get to go back and take a look at exactly the value they were given their teams. What's crack-a-lackin'? It is your boy, Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So we're going to keep it simple. A, B, C, D, and F. I'm going to try to be a little less on the Fs this time around. I feel like I got too crazy about it when I did the 2019 draft, but we are viewing this on PFF. I did not personally grade the draft on a video of that on my channel, so the grades you see here are going to be the ones PFF dolled out, but you will see also the grade I give it now on the screen. So let's go ahead, do the nitty gritty. We're starting with the Buffalo Bills. That honestly might be the best one to start with because this one was a pretty darn good draft. As you'll see here, PFF gives their worst and best picks. I'm just going to talk about all of it, but I am giving this class an A. I don't disagree. Listen, they got a franchise quarterback in Josh Allen. That's great. That's legit. That's fine. I like it. I like it a lot. Looking at the probably the rest of their draft, did they really get much from it? I mean, you go look in the 4th and 5th round, get in Johnson and Neal, which are some good sub-package players. Neal particularly does a lot of work on special teams. Harrison Phillips, he played a significant amount of snaps for the Bills before moving on. I'm trying to remember. I think he went to the Vikings this offseason. So still he provided them good depth. Tremaine Edmonds, the dude's still seeing the field. I don't think he's worth the 16th pick, but he's still a starter for the squad. If anything, you look back at like Wyatt Teller and it's like, man, that guy's so good now for the Browns. And what was it? They used a 6th round pick on him. And then they traded him away with a 7th to get a 5th and a 6th. So essentially they traded a 5th and a 7th to get a 5th and a 6th back. So you know? But overall, no, you got your franchise quarterback. That's really what makes this draft. And then they got a bunch of, you would say, quality pieces in the secondary, even if they're sub-package guys. Phillips did play a pretty good role for this defense for like 4 seasons before he moved on. Edmonds, we're still waiting. But, yeah, we're going to give it an A. Going to be positive. By the way, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. And the popular thing now to do on YouTube, if you really support the channel, is to share the video. So go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead, get back to the nitty gritty. Let's go ahead and take a look at who is next. Oh no, my Miami Dolphins. All right. So I'm giving this class for Miami a B. So Mika Fitzpatrick might be like, oh, he's not even on the squad anymore. Yeah, but we traded him away for another 1st round pick. So yeah, I'm cool with that. That's fine. At least you got good value back for Fitzpatrick, even though he has been popping off for the Steelers. We just should have used him better, man. We just tried to make him a slot guy and just really wasn't the case. Gesicki, don't know if we're going to give him that long-term deal because I believe we threw the franchise tag on him. We'll see, but man, he's been good. He's one of the better receiving tight ends in the league. You could say he's a top 10 tight end as well. Dude, we got Durham Smythe. I don't know. That ended up being a bad pick. I mean, he's depth, I guess. I don't know. Even that, we go on to get Hunter Long eventually, so it's like, what? Jermaine Baker, or Jerome Baker, excuse me. He's another guy that's actually played a significant role. So it's like, you know what? They're getting, like, with their first 3 picks, they've got significant snaps out of these guys. One's on a franchise tag. The other got an extension. While we got a first rounder back for Fitzpatrick. He's still on the roster, but it's depth. It ain't nothing good. And then Kellen Ballage, we ended up trading him. I forgot where we traded him, but what did we get back for him? We traded him for a 7th rounder. Yeah, that don't look good. But hey, Jason Sanders, that's solid. So yeah, I gave it a B. We got solid players out of it, though I wouldn't say we got any like real game breakers, you know. So yeah, gave it the nice D or the nice B. Wow. Oh man, the New York Jets. Oh, this one was woof. All right, so I ended up giving this one a D, and you might be like, yo, Sam Darnold, that's an F pick. To be fair, that's the pick they kind of had to make, even though it did cost them like all of their second round picks to move up and make that pick. But I don't disagree. They just ended up picking the wrong guy. It happens to the best of us. We're still trying to figure that out. As a Dolphins fan, we're still trying to figure out that with Tua. Just saying. Nathan Shepard ended up being a depth piece, but it kind of is what it is. Chris Herndon, he got traded for a 5th, right? Oh no, they traded him for a 4th, but they also had to give away a 6th, so they got similar value from him. Because, yeah, look at him. They got him for an early 4th, or they used an early 4th on him. Really, the best player they grab is Fatukasi, who just signed a big contract with Jacksonville this offseason. But he played a good role. Like, he was a freaking gap eater, demands double teams. Like, yeah, no, that was probably the best player they got. And now they look back. We're sitting here as the Jets, and it's like, wow, you're telling me Shepard's the only one that's really, I think, on the roster still. Trenton Cannon, I don't think he is, but yeah, no, it's a D, man. It's a D. They can't all be winners. To be fair, hey, with Sam Darnold, this is what I talk about. Like, quarterbacks, even if you draft them and they end up playing like horribly for the first couple of years, you could get good value back for quarterbacks. That their value diminishes a lot less than it does any other position. Keep in mind, the Jets traded Sam Darnold for a 2nd, a 4th, and a 6th. And now the Panthers are looking foolish for giving that up for him. So it's like, hey, they still provide some value. That's probably why I didn't give it the flat out F. All right, New England Patriots. This one I ended up giving a C. Isaiah Wynn, hey man, as long as this cat can stay healthy, he's solid. Duke Dawson was a bad pick. Don't think he's with the squad anymore. Sony Michel ends up being a bad pick. What does he get traded for? He gets traded for a 5th and a 6th, and they used a late 1st on him. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But it's kind of interesting that Bentley's actually still their starter there at linebacker. But it's kind of interesting. Ryan Izzo, who, I mean, it was a late 7th rounder, actually saw significant playing time as they were in flux trying to figure out their tight end position. Braxton Berrios with the Jets now, so playing a significant. He's playing a good role there. He's good depth, plays special teams, but now it's just kind of a C. Like, yeah, Wynn needs to stay healthy. This was bad, and now you're just looking at day 3, and it's like, yeah, we may have gotten a pretty solid linebacker. I see he's an average starter in the NFL. Really, this cat's doing it on another team, and then Ryan Izzo is depth. Is he even on the squad anymore? Let me take a look, because I know they still have they still have Asiasi and Dalton Keene, but keep in mind they got Hunter and he's with the Titans. Okay, but still, that's great. That's good value. You don't expect that guy to come in and play like snaps. So yeah, I gave it a C. Like I said, I'm gonna be pretty lenient with this because a lot of these guys, a few of them have moved on to different squads. All right, we're going to the AFC North. We're starting with the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm giving it a B. A B. Yes. Billy Price was a terrible pick. I think they end up trading him away. And to be fair, yeah, Billy Price, terrible pick. They trade Billy Price for BJ Hill and a 7th rounder. That ain't bad. Billy Price ain't worth that. BJ Hill was so much better of a player than Billy Price. And obviously here with they kind of hit on their next 2 picks, Jesse Bates being one of the top safeties in the league, and Sam Hubbard is a pretty solid number 2 edge rusher, solid guy in the rotation that they have there. So, yeah, those are good hits there. Looking here at Malik Jefferson, not on the squad anymore. Mark Walton, not on the squad anymore. So those were 2 misses. And like I said, I say this all the time. I really grade harshly the first 4 rounds. And if they get anyone else in like rounds 5 through 7, then it's impressive, you know. I'm not taking into account their UDFA class. So, yeah, sorry. I'm just strictly talking about who they drafted. Darius Phillips is actually still a good depth piece they have on the squad. Auden Tate saw some time over the last few seasons. Now he is on the Falcons, I believe. So, this ain't a bad class. I think Billy Price, that was a pretty bad pick. Jesse Bates, he's kind of a star, but like outside of that, maybe if they had a star at like a more valuable position, this might lean to an A. Isn't Logan Woodside on the Titans now? I think he's been on the Titans for a little bit now. But yeah, no, overall, like the class, they got good players from it. Good for them. And that Billy Price pick ends up not being a total bust, a total waste because of the trade. Cleveland Browns, this is where things get tough, dude, because everyone's going to look at Baker and be like, look at that. And now they're kind of stuck with him on their roster currently. But overall, I'm still going to give it a C. Like I said, I'm going to be a little less strict because, okay, they got Denzel Ward out of it, who just got paid this offseason. Austin Corbett ended up not working out for the Browns, and he moves on to the Rams and actually plays a quality role. Now he's going to be a starter there for the Panthers this season. What did he get traded for? For a 5th. So, yeah, they lost out on a ton of value. But Nick Chubb ends up being a really good pick. They kind of miss on these next 2 guys. Antonio Callaway, just a guy with a ton of character issues. That's kind of been in and out of the league. Jannard Avery ends up playing pretty darn well, and he gets traded for a 4th rounder. So, straight up, the way they move on from him, but they ended up getting more than what they used on him. So, good on you for that. Excuse me, but everyone's going to be talking about the Baker pick. And it's like, yeah, they whiffed on quarterback. They missed. It sucks. It happens. It happens a lot. And, like, Baker was kind of a tough one because he had a very impressive rookie season. And then it was like, okay, he goes into the sophomore slump. Maybe he takes that next step. And then he didn't. He just didn't. To be fair, this past season he was also playing beat up and not healthy. But still, man, like not a lot of teams that are trying to. They're gonna just wait for him to be released. They don't want to pay. I don't think they're gonna be able to make a trade with Baker Mayfield. I don't think a team's gonna want to trade for him. They're not gonna want to pay all that money that Cleveland's paying him currently. So they're gonna just wait till he's released and probably give him a minimum. So we'll see. So. Yeah, it kind of sucks for Cleveland Browns. That's really probably that's the big thing that brings down their class. Outside of that, though, hitting on Chubb and Ward, pretty solid. And then we go to the Baltimore Ravens. This was a freaking goated draft. Let's just start with that. This is an easy A. Goated draft. Hayden Hurst, yeah, it sucks. Didn't work out. Is what it is. They ended up trading him with a 4th to get a 2nd and a 5th. So yeah, they don't really get a a first back for him. You're not going to with the tight end unless they're like Travis Kelce. But Hayden Hurst was kind of like not living up to expectation. But they get a second rounder back, so that's not bad. Granted, they had to turn their fourth into a fifth to do so. Lamar Jackson, they found their franchise quarterback. They hit it, and they hit it good. Orlando Brown ends up being a guy that played right tackle very good for the Ravens. Wanted to move to left tackle, ended up forcing a trade, and you know what? They got legit value back for it. They got what? They got a first, a third, a fourth, and a fifth. And all they had to do was trade their former third rounder in Brown, throw a second and a sixth in there. So he ends up bringing back much more value than what you used on him. Mark Andrews is like a top 5 tight end in the league. It's great. Anthony Everett was actually has been solid depth for them. You look at Kenny Young, who's been actually traded around the league quite a bit for like what he first went to the Ravens, traded him to the Rams. He was a part of that Marcus Peters trade, so bam, already getting value back. Then he gets traded to the Broncos because they lost a lot at linebacker. They had a lot of injuries. Jaleel Scott, not even on the roster. But look at it like these again. Let's look at this 6th rounder. Sean Elliott played a very significant role. Played a lot of snaps for Baltimore. Ends up moving on to the Detroit Lions this season. Bradley Bozeman, again, a guy that played a lot of snaps for a 6th rounder. Moves on. I think he's with the Carolina Panthers as well. So like they got so much value in this class. Even if like Lamar, Andrews, Everett are the only guys left on the squad from that, but they were able to get good return on some of the players they moved on from, like Hurst, like Brown, like Young. So yeah, easy A. So Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh man, yeah, you could already tell this class ain't gonna be good. Did I bring out the F for the Steelers? Nah, I just decided to give them the D. Okay. Terrell Edmonds, yes, he's been playing a lot of snaps for him, and to be fair, last season was probably his best season in the league. But you're using it on a box safety, who hasn't been like the best difference maker. Granted, he kind of broke out last year, but even then, it's like, no, he just played better. He played probably as an average starter in the league. James Washington ended up playing actually a pretty darn good role as a depth piece there, being in that wide receiver rotation. Now he moves on to the Cowboys, I believe. Mason Rudolph, he's a backup. Kind of. He might not even be the backup this year. Shoot. They got Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph. Sorry, bruh. Really looking at this now, it's Edmonds and then Cora 4, who are the only starters. And even then, like, I think the deal they signed with Cora 4, they could get out after 1 year. So he actually played pretty good during the second half of the season for the Steelers. So if he replicates that, then I'm sure, okay, yeah, come stick with your, what was it, a 2-year contract, I think? 2 or 3? I can't remember. Outside of that, they saw play from Jalen Samuels, but he's not on the roster anymore, so it's kind of irrelevant. But, yeah, no, overall, like, it's a, what are they, like, what they bring from this class is hopefully maybe their right tackle of the future, not sure yet, and an average box safety, so it's not a great draft. All right, on to the Indianapolis Colts. Oh, yeah, that's right. This was another goated draft. Yeah, I think this one's an easy A. We could talk about Quentin Nelson being, one of, if not the best guards in all of football. And this was, keep in mind, this is the Colts. They traded down with the Jets. Jets traded up so they can get Sam Darnold. So they're like, Colts are looking like our like big winners just from the trade, and they end up using that to like hit on Darius Leonard. He's a top linebacker in the league. You got Braden Smith, who played guard at Auburn but moved it to right tackle for the Colts and has been wonderful. You look at their second rounders and you're like, yeah, is Tyquan Lewis with the squad still? If so, I don't think he plays a ton. But, I'll look that up. Kamoko Toure. If not for injuries, man, they had one heck of a player there. Injuries have really kind of derailed his career. Because when on the field, man, he's been very good. So I find it real hard giving him a bad grade. No, he's still with the Colts. Okay, so he's still with the roster. That's fine. You look in the beginning of the day 3, Naheem Hines has been one of the better scat backs in the league. Even Jordan Wilkins was pretty solid depth for them there. Zaire Franklin's been good on special teams as well as he's been kind of like. He's been that linebacker 3 for him for it feels like last couple of years. So it's like this was just a very good class. Deion Kane, where is Deion Kane now? He was a guy that I actually low-key really liked. Where are you? Where in the world is Deion Kane? He's with not the Steelers, the Eagles now. That's interesting. But yeah, no, this was a great class. I haven't been looking if I've been agreeing with PFF's grades, so you let me know, man. You let me know. Maybe we're like-minded. I mean, to be fair, you do look back at these draft classes, and it's kind of like, okay, I could at least get this didn't work out. That's kind of the point, The further removed you are from a draft class, you see how it works out. So we're probably going to be like-minded on a few of these. Probably a lot of these. Jacksonville Jaguars. I ended up giving them a D. Now let's see why. Taven Bryan. Words. Didn't work out. He even saw some good amount of snaps, man. He never became a feared interior guy, at least as a pass rusher. DJ Chark, man, really sucks that he wasn't healthy last season, but he ended up probably being their best pick here. Though he is probably outside of Will Richardson, who's a depth piece at this point, he's a backup, though they have had to call upon him quite a bit. He's the only guy still on the roster here. Ronnie Harrison ended up being traded for a 5th, so they don't even get back good value for Harrison. I think Leon Jacobs saw a good amount of playing time as well. But yeah, no, overall, this is a really bad class, man. They look back and all they get from it is Will Richardson. But it's a shame DJ Chark went down with injury, man. Maybe he would have gotten a good extension. Even now, Detroit signed him on a 1-year, $10 million, kind of a prove-it deal. So, all right, on to the Houston Texans. And I ended up giving this one a D as well. Because do they still have anyone on the roster from this squad? Because Justin Reed just left this year. And to be fair, their first pick wasn't until the 3rd round. But Reed just left this year, and he was probably he was the best player they got from this draft class. Jordan Atkins. I feel like they retained one of the tight ends. Right? Jordan. No, Atkins is with the Giants. Is it Jordan Thomas that's still with the squad? No, he's a free agent. So, okay, no. So, I don't think they have anyone on the roster still. That's sad, but funny. Rankins, dude saw a lot of time. He just was never good. I think they played him on the... Did they play him on... I really feel like they played him at tackle. I could also be thinking about Davenport. I just know Houston's offensive line was atrocious for a long, long time. Kiki QT ended up getting cut. I think he played for the Colts for a little bit after that, but he ends up getting cut, and he looked like he was going to play a good role as a slot player / special teamer, but legit, at least Justin Reed was probably their best pick. But again, they really get nothing coming out of this draft. probably could have got an F, but like Jordan Reed's like a really good player, so just didn't feel right. Didn't feel right. Tennessee Titans, a team that only had 4 picks. I ended up giving them a C. They paid Harold Landry very richly. Not to say he doesn't deserve it. The dude is an Iron Man. I feel like he's more of a pass rusher too, but he brings so much versatility in his role that you could kind of live with that. Rashaan Evans was kind of a big bust. He was just this run stuffing linebacker, and that was it. He was a liability in coverage. So that's what really brings it down. In the second round, he hit pretty big. And then actually, Dane, what is it, Chris Shank? He's still on the roster, man. He's kind of like their safety 3, I believe. He saw significant playing time last year. Let me check. Let me just confirm. Because Amani Hooker, this is like his emergence just happened this past season. Oh, he's with Chicago now? Yeah, it was this past season where he saw 400 snaps, where he legitimately played. He was just a versatile safety role. He had 80 snaps in the slot, played about as much in the box as he did deep. So, yeah, he was just that safety 3 that they had. So, yeah, now he's with Chicago. That's a good pickup for Chicago. That's not bad. But, yeah, it's like a C. This is, like, real based class. Like, they drafted a developmental quarterback real late. Like, pretty sure he's not even on the roster anymore. Not that you expect him to be, so it is what it is. The Denver Broncos. I believe I liked this class. How much did I like the class? So I ended up giving it a B. Ooh. Bradley Chubb, kind of tough with injuries with him. It's kind of like when he's played a full year, he's been really good. But he also has been banged up. And this year, he didn't even really return to form when he came back. Cortland Sutton's been good again when healthy. It just sucks that the quarterback play has been pretty terrible. Royce Freeman ends up getting cut. If you remember that they also, this is it's not going to be included in this class because he was a UDFA, but Philip Lindsay came along with this draft class, but he was a UDFA. But yeah, Royce Freeman, I forget where he's at now in the league. Then you look at like going to the 4th round, like obviously Isaac Yadam, not with the squad anymore. I think he's with the Giants. Could be wrong about that. Josie Jewell, they just brought him back this year, man. He's been pretty good. He's more than just a special team player. I think he's worth a he started playing. Well, I think he was hurt this year, but they started like putting some respect on his name. Like he was a free agent that I really wanted the Dolphins to go after because I thought he could be pretty like high value, low cost. But yeah, only played 2 games this past year. That's right. It was 2020 where he saw a lot of playing time. He just played well, man. He really did just play well. But I'm glad that they bring him back and he's going to have a expanded role. To keep in mind, the dude was the starter at the beginning of the 2021 season. If injury didn't, derail that. Hamilton, things just didn't work out with him. And they really didn't. There's really nothing to speak of here. I think this cat was also plagued by injury. I could be thinking of the wrong tight end, though. They've had a few tight ends. Maybe I'm thinking of the Michigan guy. Not positive. It all blurs together at some point. But yeah, I'm giving him a B. Like as of right now, there isn't a superstar in this class. Bradley Chubb needs to stay healthy and take that next step. Cortland Sutton, you finally got quarterback play. Let's see it. So yeah. Los Angeles Chargers. The Super Chargers. I ended up giving him a B for this class. Derwin James, when he's been healthy, he has been fabulous for this squad. even in the next round. And Nwosu ends up playing a big role there for the Chargers, but mainly he's more so a rotation pass rusher in the league. He moves on now to the Seahawks. Justin Jones actually played real solid for this squad, and I'm trying to think, where did he end up going? Where's Justin Jones? Because they know he's not with the squad now. That's why they ended up going after, was it Sebastian Joseph Day. That's who it was. Oh, and then Kazir White, actually, when he played, when he got time, he actually played pretty well. Now he's on the Eagles. Scott Quisenberry had to play because that line sucked a lot real early on. Keep in mind, man, Chargers line, at least that left-sided line, didn't get good till this year. Justin Jackson's always kind of been in that running back room. We'll see if he stays there. I think he's kind of better than some of the guys they have back there, like Josh Kelly and Larry Roundtree. Forgot who I was looking up. Justin Jones. Chicago. That's where he went. I was thinking Seattle, New York. Or I was thinking Seattle or the Giants or the Bears. I just couldn't remember which one. But, yeah, I mean, this cat, he saw, in the last 3 years, over 1,500 snaps. So, I mean, they got their money's worth out of him. But, yeah, potential when healthy, superstar safety here in Derwin James. Again, it's not like it's a position of exceptionally high value, though. And, I mean, yeah, looking back, all these guys have moved on elsewhere. So, but still, man, they got a lot. They got snaps out of them. I'll say that. They got snaps out of them. Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, this one was, goodness gracious, it was awful. So they didn't have a first for the Patrick Mahomes trade, which, to be fair, yeah, that's the move they had to make. But the best player they got out of here was, PFF said, Nadi, who's just kind of this run stuff and nose tackle, and that's it. Speaks, never really, they used him in parts, but he never really stuck. I don't even think of Dorian O'Daniel. Is he even still on the squad? I know Armani Watts was a guy I thought was gonna bump Daniel Sorensen eventually in that 3 safety rotation that they have. Never happened, and I was surprised. I thought when Watts was on the field, he wasn't half bad. Yeah, no, Daniel's a free agent. Thought so. And legit, there's nothing to speak of. This just isn't a good draft class, and it's really, I guess, it's kind of saved because one of their picks was used to get their franchise quarterback, and honestly might be the only reason I don't give it an F. All right, on to the Las Vegas Raiders. I ended up giving this sucker a C. Colton Miller ended up being a banger pick for this squad. Now he's probably a top 15 left tackle in the league. He's really developed pretty nicely. Looking at some of their other guys, Brandon Parker's still on the roster, still playing. He's gonna be the no. I think they use him more as a swing tackle now, right? Or maybe he's gonna be starting at right tackle. There ain't no way. Well, maybe with Alex Leatherwood. That's not great, but he's more of a depth piece. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Arden Key's just never been able to really stick it in the league. This athletic pass rusher that just hasn't been able to be more than a rotation player in the NFL. Looking at other guys, PJ Hall ends up getting traded for a 7th rounder. I think it was it the Giants that traded for him? Maybe I'm thinking of just BJ Hill. Maybe. Maurice Hurst, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what happened to his career. Maybe injuries. Because he ends up, I think, do the Raiders trade him to the Niners? Or was it the Raiders released him and the Niners picked him up? Let's see, Maurice Harrison. Let's see. Yeah, no, he was just waived. Wow. Like, he's a solid depth player in the league at this point, like, who has, like, low-key, like, a lot of upside. Like, yeah, I mean, they got a really good tackle out of it, even though the rest of the class is kind of booty. So, yeah, I give it a C. All right, let's go ahead. Now we're at the NFC. Holy moly, and we're like 30 minutes in. Let's see if we can maybe speed this up a little bit. Dallas Cowboys. I ended up giving this class a B. Leighton Vander Esch just hasn't been the same guy since the neck injuries, which kind of puts a damper on things. That kind of sucks. Still with the squad, though. Just signed a 1-year deal. Connor Williams now with my Dolphins, baby. But he was their left guard for last couple of years, man. He's been pretty darn good for him. Michael Gallup just got an extension. He's outplayed that 3rd round projection. You can even say, man, like Durant Armstrong. The guy's played a lot of snaps. Like, he's always found himself in the rotation, sometimes as a starter too at edge. And obviously Dalton Schultz ends up just being a great steal. Ends up getting the franchise tag this past season. See if they could sign him long term. Really caused them to move on from Blake. Blake Jarwin? To be fair, injuries also helped out with that. Be ill-forgotten. It would just be bad if I didn't mention Cedric Wilson, man, who got into that wide receiver rotation too. Who was provided very good depth. Now both Wilson and Connor Williams are with the Dolphins. So, like, this was a good class. Chris Covington, I felt like he played for the Texans recently. Well, he's currently a free agent. No, it was the Colts. He was on the Colts for a little bit. Okay. Fun fact. Kind of irrelevant again. It was a 5th or 6th rounder. But yeah, no, I'm giving it a B, man. They drafted good players. No superstar, though. Philadelphia Eagles. This one is oh, please tell me I gave it an A. I gave it an A. Good. Because I was like, man, this, like, legit, this ends up being their best pick. Like, Jordan Mailata is such a great pick. Even Matt Pryor played a little bit for him. I think he's now with the Colts. But, like, they got really good players here. Like, even Avonte Maddox has come into his own in the slot. Dallas Goedert, again, top 10 tight end in the league. Josh Sweat's a very good rotation player on the edge. And Mailata has kind of emerged as one of the better tackles in the NFL. So, yeah, easy A, man. They only had 5 picks, and arguably they hit on 4 of them. Well, 4 of them are still with the squad, at least. On to the New York Giants. Ended up giving this one a C. Like, Saquon wasn't, like, at 2, it's a terrible pick. As we all know, like, running back value just ain't it. Will Hernandez had a very promising rookie season. Just then it was just kind of pedestrian. He ends up moving on. Lorenzo Carter, now on the Falcons, ends up moving on. They gave him a lot of chance, though. BJ Hill, man, I thought he played real well, and then they just ship him for freaking Billy Price. Stupid. Very stupid. And that's really all to speak about. Really, a C feels very nice at this point. Like, Saquon's a good player, though. It's like, but it's at the running back position. We know how much that really, like, it's just a devalued position in today's NFL. Like, they had a good player in BJ Hill, even though they traded him away for a bad player. Carter Hernandez saw playing time. Maybe not. Maybe, you know what? I'm gonna switch. You let me know what you would give the Giants in the comment section below. I'm gonna switch to a D. All right, we're on to the Washington Commanders. Don't know if they were the Washington football team at this time or if they were the Washington. Don't demonetize my channel. But I ended up giving this class a C. You'd be like, oh, they hit really well on the Deron Payne pick. And it's like, it's an interior player, even though he's one of the better ones in the league. Like, it's just not a great value. Darius Geis obviously didn't work out. Guy had a lot of skeletons in the closet. Jaron Christian, I'm surprised that they moved on from him so quickly. He ended up playing, I thought, pretty decent for the Texans. I think it was this past season, the Texans, because they had Laramie Tunzel go down. I'm pretty sure it was the Texans. Oh, wow, he's now on the Chiefs? Yeah, he played with the Texans last year. Thought so. They tried to make Trey Quinn a thing. I mean, to be fair, he had some time to shine. Sean Dion Hamilton actually played a good depth role. I'd be remiss to not even mention freaking Tim Settle. They like hit on the interior players in this class. Now Settle's playing with the Bills, I believe. Yeah, it's just like it's just an average class. They didn't hit on positions of like high value. They drafted some good players in here, even though like Christian ends up playing for the Texans in 2021. I'm pretty sure this cat's still on the roster. Wonder where Sean Dion Hamilton went, because like I thought he deserved more playing time early in his career. All right, he's with Detroit. Ooh, interesting. All right, let's move on to the Chicago Bears. The Bears. And I ended up giving this one a C. And you're like, what? Raekwon Smith's been wonderful. Yeah, you ain't wrong. And they even got good value out of James Daniels before he left town. Anthony Miller ends up being a big bust. They ended up trading him away for what? They trade him in a 7th rounder for a 5th rounder, so they get nowhere near close to the value. This cat doesn't really play a big role, though Nichols actually does. Wims ends up just best remembered because Chauncey Gardner-Johnson just played the best mind games with him. So like I know a lot of people really like Raekwon Smith. I do too. It's just I don't think it's enough to push it to a B. I really don't. Nichols is pretty good. They should have brought back Nichols, man. Man, they could have brought him back on 2 years, $11 million. That would have been freaking phenomenal deal. The Detroit Lions, I end up giving a C2 as well. Frank Ragnow, they hit on, but it's a center position, not a big position of value. They miss on my boy Kerryon Johnson. I was actually a big Kerryon Johnson fan. Tracy Walker still with the squad, still playing well. Sean Hand didn't really work out there. Tyrell Crosby's actually I don't think he's with them anymore, but he was actually pretty good tackle depth. Like when called upon, he actually played pretty darn well. Where are you now, my friend? Still a free agent. Shoot, someone pick him up. He ain't bad. So, yeah, nah, it's just like, I feel like this is the best you can give it. Like, even if Frank Ragnow is like a top 5 center in the league, I don't know. It doesn't really say a lot. I mean, okay, they got Tracy Walker out of it, but even him, he's coming off a down year, so I don't know. I felt like C was appropriate. All right, the Green Bay Packers. I end up giving this draft class a C. Jair Alexander is legit their only saving grace. I know that they end up getting like good value for MVS, but like I feel like he lost that squad more games than he won them. I'll just say that. Missed a lot of downfield opportunities. Obviously St. Brown played a big role. Now he's in Chicago, But let's take a look at the other picks. Like Josh Jackson just doesn't work out. Kind of sucks. I think Oren Burks might still be on the roster, but he ain't sniffing the field anytime soon. Moore didn't work out. So, like, yeah, no, it's like and the best part, they traded down and got Jair Alexander. I don't know if it's enough to really save this class. Like, they really didn't hit on anything else. They just really didn't. So that's just the way of the game. All right, Minnesota Vikings. I end up giving this squad a C as well, man. We're on a bit of a C spree. Mike Hughes ends up being a terrible pick. And I mean terrible. He ends up getting eventually traded with a 7th rounder for a 6th rounder. All kinds of bad value. Brian O'Neill, best player in the best pick here. Still their right tackle, one of the better right tackles in the league. Jalen Holmes is more of a depth piece at this point. Tyler Conklin actually played a pretty good tight end 2 role this past season. Now he's with the New York Jets. I don't think there's really much else to talk about from this squad. So ended up giving it a C just because, again, Brian O'Neill kind of saves it for him. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I end up giving their draft class an A. Vita Vea, very good pick, man. One of the most disruptive nose tackles in the league. Ronald Jones ends up not working out, but he definitely had a lot of big plays for them. MJ Stewart ends up being more of a depth guy, and now he's kind of this journeyman where he's playing a bit of safety and corner. Carlton Davis ends up probably being the best pick here, him and Alex Kappa. Alex Kappa had a pretty solid career there at the right... at the right guard spot. Now he's in Cincinnati. Jordan Whitehead ends up getting paid by the Jets, but he played a significant role there. I was mentioning Carlton Davis, and he signs a 3-year, $45 million deal. And he's again one of the better corners in this league. I see people crap on him for that one game against Tyreek, and it's like, how you gonna man him one-on-one with Tyreek and give him no help over the top? That's just stupid. But yeah, now they hit here, they hit here, they hit here, and they hit here. Very solid. The Atlanta Falcons. This one's going to be a bit tough given Calvin Ridley's current predicament, but I gave it a B. Isaiah Oliver, he's still on the roster. They're trying to make him their slot guy. So, I mean, I guess. I mean, it's still a bad pick. Sanat's a bad pick. Smith ends up being a bad pick. But these 2 6-rounders end up being big money. Russell Gage ends up getting paid by the Bucs this offseason. He was a very good slot option for the Falcons last couple of years. Foye Oluokun ends up getting paid by the Jags. And he played a very important role last couple of years as he was this safety at Yale, moving to linebacker. So, yeah, I ended up giving it a B because, Calvin Ridley, man, he's a very good wide receiver, too, in the league, I think. And they actually got I would say, man, Oluokun's like a top 20 linebacker in the league. He's up there. All right, the New Orleans Saints, man. This one's kind of weird, man, because they end up giving away a lot just to move up to get Marcus Davenport. And to be fair, when healthy, this guy has been very good. Very good for who dat? The Saints. That's who that be. I ended up giving this class a C, though. Again, the trade kind of sucked, and I said I wouldn't take trades really into consideration. Try not to, but then they just missed with their next 2 picks. Richard Leonard, not even on the roster anymore. Traquan Smith, I think he's still on the roster. Will Clapp, actually, I would argue Will Clapp played a more significant role than Rick Leonard. They have Boston Scott, but he really ends up playing well for the Eagles. So it's I really like who they got here. And Traquan had his moments. So, yeah. Carolina Panthers, I end up giving them a B. I love DJ Moore, man. DJ Moore is like one of my... When we get to the redraft, you'll understand, but he's one of my favorite players. Dante Jackson just ends up signing an extension. Guy that's played a bit on the outside. I think the slot's probably best where he's suited, but he does have that versatility to play on the outside. To be fair, they extended Ian Thomas. We haven't seen a lot from him, like a lot of positive from him. Doesn't seem like he'd be someone you want to like continue to move forward with, but they ended up doing it. So, hey, more power to you. Golden never really works out. Marquise Haynes is actually pretty good depth. Trying to think, because I'm pretty sure Norton doesn't. I feel like something happened to Norton, right? That's right. He ended up having to be amputate his left arm, man. Rough. I was gonna say I kind of remember something with him. I just couldn't remember specifically. But then again, you're not looking at these late day 3 picks and really judging them. You're really just looking at how these guys did. And DJ Moore, Dante Jackson, I thought were hits. Ian Thomas, we'll find out, man. It looks like they got plans for him. And Haynes has actually been pretty good in a rotational role. So, yeah, I gave it a B. Like DJ Moore, I think, so close to being a superstar wide receiver. All right, on to the... Oh, now we're finally here at the end, man. These regrade videos, or I guess in my case, grade in. But to be fair, I graded this class last year. I just didn't grade the class at the time. I wasn't making YouTube videos then. I'm sorry. They're always just like very interesting, man. They take so long because I like talking about some of these guys. Oh, well, this class has to be an A. McGlinchey, Fred Warner, DJ Reed, even Richie James plays a significant role. I gave this an A, right? Yeah, I gave it an A. Yeah, Dante Pettis ends up, not working out. He's moved on. Don't know where he's at right now. But even Moore, I think, plays a little bit. He's more depth. Street ends up being a depth guy. Like DJ Reed doesn't really like come into his own until I think year 3. Then he goes and plays in Seattle. Plays really well. So Robert Saleh was like, "Yo, I'm with the Jets now. Come back, man. Come back." And he has now returned to his 49er roots. So, like, that's pretty cool. And like I said, Richie James has actually played a significant role for the Niners. Like, Fred Warner, you could make an argument he is the best, if not, he's like a top 3 linebacker in the league. McGlinchey's, like, fine. Like, I would say he's like a top 20 right tackle in the league. I hesitate to say, like, top 15, but I feel like he'd be around in that 15 area. So, yeah, no, overall, man, this was a very good class for the Niners. The Arizona Cardinals, golly gee. So, yeah, Josh Rosen ends up getting traded, right, for a second rounder to the Dolphins. Fins up. So, obviously, that ends up being just a big woof. And by the way, I'm also giving this class a C. Mason Cole plays a lot of snaps for him. Granted, I don't think he plays well. Christian Kirk ends up being this nice, like, slot guy. Never really, like, he plays a little bit on the outside, but it feels like it's just better in the slot. And then he ends up getting, like, paid by Jacksonville. Chase Edmonds actually ends up being very good for them as, like, a 1-2 punch, whether it was Kenyon Drake or James Conner this year. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, arguably, like, they got a lot from these players. It's just they gave up. To be fair, I think they made the right call by giving up on Rosen real quick. When they were like, we got number 1, we're going Kyler Murray. So Definitely thought that was the right call. Dude, this Rams draft is nuts, dude. It really is. I had to give this an A. Their first pick was at 89, and they have so many starters right now. This has to be an A, right? Okay, I gave it an A. Because, like, I'm looking at, like, my notes that I took. It was like, sometimes I'll be doing a video. I was like, that doesn't feel right. I think I'm changing this grade. But, dude, they're like, okay, we'll find out. Noteboom, is he the left tackle of the future now that Whitworth is gone? We'll find out. Freaking Brian Allen ends up having a career year last year. You could make an argument he might be a top 10 center in the league. Let's see if he can rinse and repeat last year's performance. You got Josh Franklin Myers, who ends up being more of a star. Well, I don't want to say star. Like, he's a quality starter for the Jets. But he ends up being real quality starter for the Jets. He ends up being a cut. That's the thing. I think that's what hurts most. He ends up being just a cut. And that's wild. Micah Kaiser plays a lot, but that's probably the first pick where I'm like, yeah. Like, you could look at their other linebacker pick too. Traven Howard ends up getting a lot of playing time. It's not always positive, though. They also get Sebastian Joseph. I guess they add the day later. But they end up getting him in the draft. He ends up being pretty darn good. Now he's with the Chargers, reunited with Brandon Staley. Josh Kelly, man, was one. I know that Hail Mary podcast, if you're not familiar, Alex from there, he was a big fan of John Kelly. I didn't quite get it. And then now you got Okoro or Okoro. Man, I gotta get used to saying his name. I'm just gonna call him Ogbana. I'm not okay. I'm gonna call him 00. Straight up, he's out with the Texans. Watch out for him this year. Like, I was getting everything ready for a few of my deep dives, which they should start this week, by the way. And he's a cat that I'm looking out for. Like, the Texans, I think, are gonna be a better than you expect team. They're still going to be picking in the top 10 when it comes to the draft, but I think they're going to be better than what a lot of people expect. But yeah, he was a guy to watch out for. He actually, just this past season for the Rams, came in more as a rotation player. And I think he had like 20-some pressures, 3 sacks on the year, and it was just like on 300 snaps. So, like, this was a great class. And their first pick was at 89, so... Hey, man, just do your homework and get these guys opportunities. Why did they put Nate Boom as their best pick? Yeah, I don't know why they would put Nate Boom. I feel like he still needs to prove he's the successor. Like, he's looked good in appearances, but... I don't think that question's answered yet. I was just kind of curious. I don't know why I started reading the article now. We're right here down the stretch, and I decided to start reading PFF. Oh, by the way, this one's an F. This is the only F I think I dole out. This is the only F I dole out. Do I? Yeah, this is the last one, too. Oh, man. Dude, this is a trash draft. Rashad Penny? Well, guess what? You just got probably his replacement this past season in the second round in Kenneth Walker. And they did this while they had Chris Carson. To be fair, Chris Carson's been a guy that's struggled with injuries his career. Rasheem Green just never ends up emerging. I'm hesitant to say that either Will Disley or Michael Dickerson are their best picks. I think there's a case to be made that that's the truth. I really do. Jacob Martin's been kind of this journey, man. I think he's on the Texans as well. He might not be anymore, but I know he played on the Texans for a little bit. Jones did get some starting time, but it didn't go well. Trey Flowers got some starting time, didn't go well. This just was a bad class. What do they get out of this class? A backup, maybe a tight end 2, and a punter. It's bad. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. This sucker's long as they normally are, but I like talking about these draft classes. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. We'll have a redraft at the end of the week, and we're going to start our deep dives here in the middle of the week, so be there for that. I'm still watching a lot for prospects for 2023. So, yeah, no, hopefully I think maybe that begins in July. We'll start doing the rankings for the 2023 class. Probably closer to like mid to late July. And that way we get ready for the college football season. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.